Chum chum chumpity chum. Oh wait now. Is that better? I don't know. That'll be better. Okay, right, let's get this show on the... Wait there now. Road. Good evening, Scotland. Good evening, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Tuesday Tuesday the 20th of August 2024. What a fast year it's been. I'll do a quick sound check to make sure that I'm not echoing. So it would be great if anybody... I'm going to be streaming across TikTok, Facebook and also YouTube all at the same time now. Alright, so it'd be amazing if anybody in any of these particular areas give me a thumbs up if I'm not echoing, please. That would be astounding. If I am echoing, just tell me. That would be amazing, and I can fix it as we go along, which will be cool. Oh yes, comfy now. Comfy. So it looks like it is okay in... Is it okay in Facebook land? Yeah, Blondie says it's cool in TikTok land, and the only way I can check this just now in Facebook land is myself, actually. Hold on. Oh, how do we switch the sound on there? Is there any sound coming in Facebook land? No echo. You can hear me. Hi, Aquarius. How are you in YouTube land? That's good that you can hear me there, and I think that'll be okay. Right. Always have to do a sound check, because when you're streaming over 3 platforms, I've got different streams of sound go into different parts of the software that I use. So it's a bit mad for it all, Listen, this is not a planned live tonight. This is just a casual live because I wanted to talk about a little bit about the voting system. Boring stuff, innit? The voting system, the one that they use in Holyrood. It's not the sort of thing that people want to talk about, but it's something, especially for 2026, something that we need to talk about. It's so damn important. If you can hear scratching just now, it's my cats. Okay, they're taking a shit, alright, over there in their litter tray, okay, which I've moved into the living room because, well, it was making too much noise for the kids when they were in their bed. Shh, can you just do your ablutions quietly, pussycat? Quietly? You can still poop, but quietly. There you go. There you are. Right, so I'm going to do an experiment tonight as well in seeing whether or not I can do capture web pages and show you the sort of resources that you can go and look at across the internet to learn about what is called the additional member system. In short, let's talk about it in brief just now. I'm going to open up the boxes in a little while as well. To people that I know. I only open up boxes to people that I do know, by the way, or I've interacted with. I don't really bring strangers in until I've got to know you a bit better and stuff like that. So it's not really a debating channel or anything, but it's more of a sort of like a late night independence chit chat sort of thing. So please don't ever be offended if you make a request to come live with me and I sort of like say no. All right. Hi there, Ken. How are you? Right. Okay. So the additional member system, if you're not too familiar with it, for Holyrood is a two voting. You get two votes in the system. The first vote is for your constituency MSP, and that is the traditional first past the post. That's easy to understand because basically what happens is if you get the most votes, you get the seat. All right, and there's usually, if I'm not mistaken, 7 seats in a voting region, or is it? No, it's 9 constituency seats in a voting region. Okay, 1 second. We get questions coming through on the WhatsApp channel all the time here as well. Ah, there we go. Cool. So that's dead easy. You've got the 9 seats in the constituency region. First person, and the person with the highest votes wins that particular seat. Your second vote, though, is done by a means of proportional representation. And what proportional representation means is that it's kind of like you get a proportion of the votes, a proportion of the seats will go to you, and it's calculated differently. And that's what we're going to look at just now, how it's actually calculated, because there's always a lot of confusion about how to vote one way or another and what's the best options, personally for independence. This is the way I look at it for myself. So let me see if I can actually get this to work. That's looking okay just now. And let me bring that up, and then we go to the Scottish Parliament page. Right, okay, is that working? That is working. I'm so happy. Right, so let me bring this across just now. Oh, look, it's Little Mo. Hello, I'm Little Mo. All right, so if you go to parliament.scot, this is the Scottish Parliament webpage. This is where all the resources are there, all the information is there, and it's set up in such a way that you can navigate reasonably well. However, the thing that I want to show you tonight, I also have a link to it in a minute, and I'll show you in a second how you can get to it, right? But I'm going to show you how to navigate to it first. So you go to this little part here, get involved, and you go down to education. Okay, and then you go to education resources. And then you go to resources on this website. Then you go to interactive resources. And then you go to the additional member system. And then you go to the interactive resource, which is what we're going to do tonight. However, let's make it easier. If you were to go to lazylinks.co holyrood.uk/Saorsa, you can see right there, I have a link set up to save you going around the houses trying to find that particular thing. Okay, so it's under ScotGov Additional Member System. Now, you just have to click on that and it will take you to the interactive page, which what we're going to do in just a second. Now, it's important, this is, just so you understand, this is the actual presentation. This is the actual official Scottish Government tool for teaching kids about the additional member system, about how the votes are all done. And we're going to do it. It's going to take about 10 minutes to go through this. Then I'm going to open up the boxes and we'll have a wee chat about this. All right. And then I've got another wee thing I want to try, and it's more of an experiment. It'll be dead dull. And I want to use ChatGPT to show you how, if we hadn't voted SNP2 in 2021, how the results would have been. Now, I've done it on spreadsheets and I've also done it on ChatGPT as well as an experiment last night to see if it worked, and it works. So we're going to do it that way. I've actually, we'll do it live and we'll type in all the questions for it. But let us go and do, this way thing the now. Okay? Before we do that, I better bring up the boxes so I can see different people and stuff. Okay, so we've got Age of Aquarius across in YouTube land. Anybody else that's there, give us a wee wave. I think we've only got me watching in Facebook land, but Facebook's always quite quiet. It's tumbleweeds, tumbleweeds. And also, not many indie folk are up at this time of night on Facebook. And then let me come into the Tick of Talks just now on my phone so I can see who's all here on the Tick of Talks, because it's always a lively chat there. Right, here we go. No, that's fine. So Radio Apocalypse is actually me. That's me on another account there. So hiya Blondie, how are you? Ken as well. There's Greeny. I hope you're feeling better, brother. Hope you're all good. And James was in earlier on. I don't know if you're still here, James, but much love to you. If you are, you can come into a box afterwards if you want. That would be cool. And we've got about 9 people watching there as well, which is pretty good for a non-advertised live. So listen, just, chat away. If you've got any questions, please ask the questions as we go through. Ken is also my moderator as well, so he will make sure that the chat is nice and safe. And if there are any questions that I miss from any of the people, Ken, or any of my other mods that are in just now as well, just WhatsApp me and I will do my best to answer them as we go along. Take about 10 minutes to run through this just now, so if it gets a bit boring, just come back and watch it on YouTube because I'm recording it. Okay, so introduction to the additional member system. Hi, I'm going to do the voice of little Einstein here, but I'm not going to do it in an Einstein voice because I don't think I could keep it up for about 10 minutes or so. But I'm going to read verbatim what's on here, because otherwise, if I didn't read it like that, I would probably ramble more than I usually do, because I've done this about 100 times to show other people as well. Right, so introduction to the additional member system. Hi, let me explain what it is. The additional member system is a form of proportional representation which aims to make the results of an election reflect more closely to the amount of votes cast for each party or individual. The additional member system combines first past the post in constituencies and a regional system which elects 56 additional members to the Parliament. Let me explain. Okay, little Einstein, let you explain. At a Scottish Parliament election, you can see that's Scotland right there. Each voter has 2 votes. One is your constituency vote, the other is your regional vote. This vote is used to elect the local constituency MSP. The constituency vote is counted and the first person with the most votes wins. This is known as first past the post. Your second vote is to choose a political party, or a candidate standing as an individual with a larger electorate in a larger, or a candidate standing as an individual within a larger electoral area known as a region. The region is made up of several constituencies. The region votes are counted, and the regional seats are decided using the D'Hondt formula. Victor D'Hondt was a Belgian mathematician that basically I know a little about, but I'm not going to ramble on with what I do know about him because I don't want to, simply because it will distract us from this. The D'Hondt formula, how does it work? This is the important thing. This is the sort of thing, if you go into an indie group on Facebook or on Twitter, you will get people shouting at you saying that is not how it works. This is directly from the government website, the Scottish Government website, and this is how it actually works. Alright? So, the D'Hondt formula. Regional seats are decided using the D'Hondt formula. Regional votes are divided by the number of MSPs already won in that region plus 1. The party or person with the largest number after this formula is applied wins the round and wins one regional MSP. This formula will be used 7 times in 7 rounds to elect 7 regional MSPs. That's in each of the voting regions. So are you with me so far? Let's go to round 1. Ding ding, round 1. Let's take an example of a region. Our region is called Anywhere and it's made up of 9 constituencies. Voters could choose between 6 political parties: the pink, the spotty, the black, the striped, the purple and the white party. The pink party has won 8 of the constituencies and the black has won the other. See that? Pink. It's more of a sort of mauvey purple and then a black one. There you are. Let's look at the numbers we are using and where they come from. In the regional vote, the pink party got 99,000 votes. It gained 8 constituency MSPs in the area and that makes up the region. 1 is added to the 8 to make the divisor for the pink party basically 9. So they have 99,000 votes divided by 8 plus 1, which equals 11,000 votes. That is what they start with in round 1 when they calculate the actual seats. The D'Hondt formula for the pink party for round 1 is 99,000 divided by 8 plus 1. The result for round 1 is 11,000. So here we go. The pink party has 11,000. The spotty party, because they didn't get any seats in the constituencies, their divisor is 0 plus 1. So 85,000 divided by 1 is 85,000. The black party, they got 1 seat, remember? So they have 1 plus 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2, so 47,500 divided by 2 equals 23,000. Then if you go down the other parties, they didn't get any constituency seats, so their votes are divided by 1. Okay? Is everybody with me? Are we bored yet? Hope not. Right, cool. Right, next slide. The spotty party got 85,000 votes in the regional ballot. They didn't win any of the 9 constituencies in the regions, so the D'Hondt formula for them is 85,000, 0 plus 1 for their divisor. Their result for round 1 is 85,000. The black party got 47,400 votes in the regional ballot. They won 1 constituency in the region, and the D'Hondt formula for the black party is 47,500 divided by 1 plus 1, so their result is 23,750. And then all the other parties, as I said, basically have their votes divided by 1 and they end up with what they actually originally got because they didn't get any seats at all in the constituencies to add up the divisor. So the result for round 1 is the Spotty Party. They win the first round for the first seat right there. Okay, that is where that stands. That is where that actually works. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. Cats, stop eating each other. Honestly, stupid cats. Don't know why they're doing that, man. It's crazy. They've been neutered. They're not in heat or anything. Right, so this formula is going to be used 7 times in 7 rounds to elect 7 regional MSPs. So let's recap. The DeHont formula is the number of regional votes divided by the number of MSPs the party has in the region plus 1. So in round 2, the Spotty Party divisor will change as they've now won an MSP in round 1. In round 2, the same formula is applied, but the Spotty Party divisor changes. So the Pink Party still has 99,000 votes and still starts up in that round as 11,000. The Spotty Party, though, now has basically 1 seat plus 1 as their divisor. So their 85,000 votes get basically divided by 2. So they end up with that. The Black Party end up with the same amount. The Striped Party, the Purple Party, and the White Party all have the same ones there as well. In round 3, the same formula is applied. The Striped Party divisor changes, okay, because the Striped Party won in the last round. So we end up with 99,000 again for the Pink. Spotty Party is 42,000, Black Party 23,000. Striped Party, because let's go back a screen actually so you can see, the Striped Party had 52,000 and they won in that particular round. Back to this screen. So this round here, the Spotty Party again win the seats. Round 4, so the Spotty Party has their divisor is 3, but they still, so when you divide 85,000 by 3, they still have the large amount of votes there. They've still got the most amount, so they get another MSP. Please take note that the Pink Party, who did very well in the constituencies, have not won anything yet. At all. Round 5, Striped Party, they win this time. Okay, 52,000, there's the votes there, brilliant. And then the Black Party get 1 in the next round. And finally, in round 7, Purple Party with 23,000 votes. They've got their highest amount of votes. And the wee White Party don't get anything whatsoever. Why not try calculating round 2? Remember, the same formula is applied to the Spotty divisor as it changes. Now bear in mind, this is for school kids to use. This is how I learned all about the DeHont method, and I found it a great tool. And remember as well, you can go to the lazy links there, to that little link there, lazylinks.co.uk/Saorsa, and it'll save you finding it. Go and play with it, please go play with it, because it's important that you understand this when it comes to voting strategies, how that vote actually works. Right, so this is how it's all going to stack up at the end of 7 rounds. The Pink Party got no regional MSPs at all. That is so familiar from 2021 with the SNP, and we'll talk about that in a wee minute or two. Okay, Spotty Party got 3 regional votes, 3 regional seats. Black got 1, Striped 2, Purple 1, and poor wee White Party, they got a zilcho. So yeah, constituency MSPs for the Pink Party was 8, and they got the total votes when you add the constituency and the regional votes to 232,600. It's going to go through all these votes just now to show you how this all reflects and works on it all down there just now. So I was about to try and point with my finger on the screen, but you can't see me point with my finger on the screen. Looking at this then, you have the party that's got the second largest vote share, which is the Spotty Party. They got the second largest amounts of seats, if you take into the regional part. So as a way of proportional representation for the second vote, I think I like it. Some people don't like it. Some people find that it's frustrating and it's like, oh, it's geared up never to allow a majority in. It is. It's kind of designed to allow more chit chat and talking between parties more than anything else. So now you know how the additional member system works. Here's a couple of questions for you. Right, question 1. Do you think the additional member system makes the number of votes the MSPs each party get more proportional to the number of votes cast? I think it does, so I'm answering yes, right? Yes? Okay. I thought it would click on. Do you think the additional member system votes gives more power to the voter? I actually do. And we're going to talk about manipulating that as well in a minute from a pro-independence point of view. Okay? And that's it. That is it for doing that just now. Oh, hang on. That's not what we want. Let's go back to that. We don't want to play the starting thing. We want to go to the main cam. That's the one. Ta-da! Technical difficulties. Error behind the keyboard, as my friend Barry would say. Right, that's cool. Okie dokie. 10 minutes of your time that took the now, and I appreciate your time for actually listening to me ramble about that. But I would like you all to take that away, share with your friends the actual resource. Take the link from the Lazy Links, my Lazy Link site, and go and play with it. Do it a few times. Get to understand how the voting system works. It's so important because when it comes to actually understanding and using the voting system in a positive way, we could manipulate and have so many pro-independence bums on seats. Now, I'm going to say something just now, right? When it comes to politics, we are so polarised within the independence movement. So many people can't stand Alapa. So many people can't stand the SNP. But that's based around policy and judgment. When you rise above that and go independence first, and it has to be independence first for everything when it comes to elections just now, all right, for the Scottish elections, we need to be voting in a manner that puts more independence people in Holyrood and push out the unionists. Now, the way that I actually look at this whole particular way of doing things is we seem to be focused on not producing those bums on the seats. We can vote for the SNP as the government, you know, they can do the policy stuff and everything. Stop it! Cats! Don't know why they're fighting. I think it's because it's windy. I don't know. It's a bit crazy. What was I saying? Yeah, so we need to be thinking along the lines of why we've never tried to elect as many people, as many pro-independence people to be within opposition as well. Because we could actually do that. If you were to take the results of the 2021 election, and I'm going to use the Glasgow regional voting area as an example, they voted all 9 constituencies in as MSPs for the SNP. They had, we'll call it about 500,000 votes maybe on the list. For the SNP, I think it was a bit less than that. Okay, and that delivered absolutely no MSPs for the SNP through the list, because we'll keep it simple. Let's say it's 100,000 votes just for my mathematics, because what would have happened is those 100,000 votes would have been divided by the 9 plus 1. So in that calculation, they would have ended up with 10,000 votes starting, and then all the unionist parties had more. Now, if all those votes had gone to the Green Party or gone to Alapa or gone to ISP or anything like that at all, other than the SNP, they would have ended up with 4 of those other people, and it would have pushed out 4 unionists in Glasgow. Now, I've done all the calculations, I've done it on spreadsheets, and for every single region, and I'm going to use Alapa as an example because that's just how it is. It doesn't matter whether you like them or not, it's just easy to differentiate between the SNP and Alapa for this, right? So if you were to replicate that right across every single region, and nobody voted for the SNP in the lists and voted for a second independence party, they would have ended up with 4 ALPA seats in every region, and that would have been 32 ALPA MSPs in Holyrood. The SNP would have been a minority government by 3 votes, but you're telling me that the independence folk within ALPA wouldn't have worked for the important legislation with the SNP because it's pro-Scottish legislation. Also, ALPA would have been the largest party in opposition. And that delivers a strong rhetoric to the rest of the world saying we have a pro-independence government and we have a majority, the strongest party in opposition is also pro-independence. And that is really what we should be aiming for at the end of the day. Right, I'm going to open up the boxes to the teamy weemy. 1 second. And we will do that. We need to do... Where is panel cam? There we go. Alright, let's see who we've got in. There is Aaron. There is Ken. Uh-oh. I just heard my own voice whisper there just now. There we go. Are you going to stop it? Honestly. You're acting like children. I swear to God. Can't say. Right, I think it just looks like it's going to be... There's Ken, I'll invite you. Did I invite you? You coming in, Ken? Have you finished making your burgers? Cool. Nice. Right, and let's get rid of that. So there is the Aaron. Hi Aaron, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Good, I'm great, thank you. Let me just bring the boxes onto the screen now as well. Your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. Not yet. We want to keep live on the tube of views. Right, cool. Right. So I don't know whether you were paying attention to all of that, gentlemen.
I certainly was. Do you know what? I just want to add one very quick thing.
Uh-huh.
I actually like the system that we have.
Okay.
I just don't think it works for Scotland at the moment, whilst we're stuck in the Union. But I do actually like the voting system that we do have. Because I think it is important for us to, have that cross-party collaboration, basically. Whether you're it doesn't matter which party you're from, but it doesn't work at the moment because we're stuck in the Union.
Right, so I'm going to put something to you just now, okay? It doesn't work just now because we vote SNP in the majority of things for both list and also the constituencies, okay? And the whole system was designed to keep the nationalists down. But when they put this into place, they never visioned a list-only independence party. Okay, so if this is supposed to collaborate, even inside the union, why aren't we collaborating with more people that are pro-independence on the opposite benches, rather than have people that are there just to collect a wage that are unionists, MSPs? So I'm going to disagree with you, Ken, because I think that we should be using the system right now. Because can you imagine having 32 other pro-independence MSPs, and whether they be Green, whether they be ALPA, whether they be ISP, whether they be individuals who are pro-independence that would work with the government for pro-Scottish policies? They might not agree with everything. Like, for instance, I pretty much think ALPA might have disagreed with the Gender Recognition Act and Bill. I think there might have been more scrutiny on that might have made people feel a bit more comfortable with it. I was comfortable with the way it sat, but it might have stopped all that controversy. You would have no problems in getting to the point where you could look at budgets a bit better, because again, ALPA or Greens or ISP would be more focused on Scottish particulars rather than the Unionists being not so much focused and putting things forward in a negative fashion. So I think as well, if in an independent Scotland, we should keep this voting system. I really do, because I do think that collaboration between parties is the way forward. I do believe I much prefer having coalition governments or minority governments that have to work with other parties in a consensus to move forward with it all. I really, really do think it's important. But that's just my opinion. My opinion is just mine.
I take that point.
As a whole. But yeah. But I think the interesting thing is when you end up looking at and we're going to do this in a second. I'm going to bring up ChatGPT in a second. Oh, you can't see your beautiful faces just now. There you go. When I bring up ChatGPT, you guys will disappear from the screen, but you'll still be able to chat, and I'm going to end up asking this questions specifically about the additional member system. I'm going to say to it, go and learn about the additional member system. I'm going to say, look at how the second vote works, all these things. And we're going to then get it to go and look at specifically the results from 2021. And we're going to do it by region. And we're going to get it to calculate as if Alapa, if all the SNP votes went to Alapa. Okay, let's bring up that screen now. In fact, let's get that on the go. We need that one again. Why are you so small? Hold on. Boom. That's better. And bring it over. Cool. Right, so you guys are still on the not on the screens, but you're there just now. So this is ChatGPT. For those that don't know what ChatGPT is, it's an AI. I use it quite a lot for digging out research and stuff, and having conversations to ask it questions. And some of it's quite good. It is an AI. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for asking questions. So let me move the microphone out of the way. You might hear me heavily handed typing. Let me turn the microphone round a wee bit. Can you still all hear me okay? Can you still hear me, Ken and Aaron?
No.
No. They need to do a Barry on me, mate, okay? Right, okay, so what should we ask it? Okay, what do you know about the Holyrood voting system for Scottish general elections? Boom. Okay, right, so, and then it's going to start talking about all the stuff that we've pretty much talked about on that presentation. 2 votes for each voter, a constituency vote and a regional vote. The allocation of regional seats after the constituency MSPs are elected. The regional seats are allocated based on their share of the regional vote using the D'Hondt method. Party, blah, 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 blah. The outcome is this. Total number of MSPs in the Parliament is 129 seats, 73 constituency and 56 regionals, etc. So, right, so it knows about that. So let's now ask it, can you tell me how the regional seats are calculated? Right, so here we go. Now, again, I would say to anybody, I would challenge anybody, go and use an AI to go and learn about this, or just go and use the little thing that I put out there for people to have a wee look at. All right. So again, we've done all this on the presentation. Start with the party's total regional vote for each party. Take the total number of votes they received in the regional ballot. Divide by the number of seats already won, plus 1. It doesn't say the plus, does it say the plus 1 there? The total regional votes for each party, they're then divided by the number of constituency seats that the party has won, plus 1. There's the plus 1. For example, if a party's won 3 constituency seats in a region, their total regional vote count would be divided by 3 plus 1, which equals 4. Right, okay, so it goes on to examples about how this works. This is actually better than what I did last night. So Party A got 40,000 votes, 3 constituency seats. Party A is basically 3 plus 1 divided into 40,000, and that gives a starting total of 10,000. All right, ba ba ba, diddly doo. Right, there we go. Moving on. Right, so let's now ask it, and we're going to ask it now specifically about the regions. So, how many regions are there? Oh, hang on. How many voting regions are there in Scotland? So we have 8. Now the reason I've put this in here because I can never remember what they are, and it's important for me to know what they are when we come on to the exercise towards the end, when we ask it to swap the SNP votes for the ALPA votes. Okay, so now we're going to look at here just now is in the 2021 Scottish election. What was the regional result for Glasgow? Boom. Right, so regional distribution for Glasgow, it was 111,064 votes. So the SNP got 43.1% of the votes, and it was allocated in this manner. Greens got 2, Labour got 2, Tories got 2, Liberal Democrats got 1. SNP, with the highest amount of votes, got none, because they started off with 9 seats in the constituencies plus 1, so they started with about 11,000 votes. So you can see going down here, 11,000 votes, it was like that. Right, so let's now ask it purely about swapping those votes out. All right, so if the SNP regional list votes all went to Alba and not the SNP, what would this fictitious result have been? Let's see. Hopefully we'll get. Let's have a look at the seat allocation. ALPA would have got 4 or 5 seats, Labour 1 or 2, Tories 0 or 1, Greens 0 or 1, and the Liberal Democrats got 0. So the ALPA party, with all the SNP votes redirected to ALPA would have likely dominated the regional seat allocation, potentially winning 4 or 5 of the 7 seats. We'll say 4. Right, so let us now take this. Let me just copy that into the chat there, and then we're going to run the same thing for Central Scotland. Right, let's just do this. Central Scotland. If the SNP regional list votes for Central Scotland all went to ALPA and not the SNP, what would this fictitious result have been? Again, ALPA would have got 4 or 5 seats. Now, if we're going to do exactly the same thing for every single region just now, all right? So let's do, what's the next region? I go past it, Highlands and Islands. Highlands and Islands, where is the, I need to go down. This is the best way I've ever actually calculated these votes through for it all. Redistribution for Highlands and Islands. Here we go. So ALPA would have got 3 or 4 seats. We're going with 4. Okay, now I could sit here and I could go through all these, but you're going to get the same answers for every single one of them. All right, and do you know what? I don't want to do that. Okay, I want to sit here and turn around and say to you that we can sit and argue over policy till we're blue in the face when it comes to Holyrood 2026. But what we actually need to be doing is turning around and working with every single, regardless of how we feel about them, we need to be working together with every single political party that is pro-independence. The proof is in the pudding there with regards to the presentation in Holyrood. The proof is in the pudding there using ChatGPT to go and pull the data from the internet and then calculate and then ask it to make a fictitious result from 2021. Now, 2026 is not going to be anything like 2021 if the most recent general election for Westminster is going to be anything about it. But I strongly believe if we went in with one policy across every single independence party, which is putting independence first, and then we can be managing Holyrood afterwards. If we put that first, you're going to find people will work together better, especially if it's treated like a plebiscite referendum. Sorry, King Ben, I don't let anybody on, mate, that I don't know. All right, I've never interacted with you before, so I don't let people on that I don't know. Who else has asked just now? 1 second. Nope. So sorry, guys. It's not about that. Yeah, my name is Ben. Now you know me. That's funny. No, sorry, mate. No, I've never interacted with you before. I've never seen you in my lives before. I've never seen you in my comments before on my posts. So unfortunately, I just keep it nice and easy for it all. Hi, Auntie Little. How are you? So long story short is I feel that we should be working together a little bit more. And I think that we should be putting independence first rather than just policy. Policy is something that we can talk about left, right and centre. It's something that it can be criticised for very easily in a general election. Okay, so we need to still have policy, obviously, because, you know, we're going to fix this, we're going to fix that, and that's what politicians do. But if we want to progress the political side of independence, we need to come together and work together within independence parties to make Holyrood a pro-independence parliament. And the only way to do that is to SNP not to field any list seats. That then means that the pro-indie people will then have a choice of Greens, ISP, ALPA, or private individuals that are pro-independence at the end of the day. And that, I think, is very, very important. Okay, now, I'm a card-carrying member of the SNP. I'm going to their conference as a delegate next week. I'm not a zealot for the SNP, but I hold them to account in my local ward. I'm quite happy to be critical of them, but they're the biggest party of independence just now. And I feel that maybe they need to reflect a little bit after the result from Westminster and then move forward in a more direct fashion towards independence. There's been a couple of articles in newspapers saying SNP needs to get back to basics. I feel that they do, but I'm just one voter, and I won't get run down by the humdrum of everything to do with the party and the hegemony of political power. I think it's really important that everything has to be based around the independence of our nation. We're about to be fleeced with 4 cables being built that will take our renewable energy and basically land it down south in 4 separate locations. We are already being fleeced for our oil and our gas. They basically took away the pensioners' winter fuel allowance down in England, down in Westminster. Okay, and that would have cost the Treasury about £160 million to have it as a universal payment in Scotland. Now, incidentally, I don't know if you're aware of this, that particular benefit was about to become a devolved benefit for the pensioners, and it was going to be managed by the Scottish Government, and that was going to be starting in October. But right before it all happened, what happens is the Labour Party defunds it completely. But it's still coming to us and we still have to manage it. And at the same time that happens, okay, Ian Murray, the Scottish Secretary, all right, who's in charge of the Scottish office up here, gets a budget of £160 million to use for poverty projects throughout Scotland. Now, I am all for spending money on poverty projects. I think it's really important that that happens. I feel it's very important that it's done. But that's exactly the same amount as the winter fuel allowance for the pensioners. Exactly the same amount. So why don't we just have that instead? And then you can go and spend another 150 million next year. Let's get the pensioners through this winter first, you know? But no, not only does Keir Starmer want to starve children, not only does he want to continue having a brutal war in Gaza, okay, but he also wants to freeze pensioners in Scotland. This is Labour Party. It's supposed to be the party of the people. It's certainly not the party of the people in Scotland, as far as I'm concerned. You know, democratically, for Westminster, it is right now, unfortunately. I think that was more of a get the Tories out type vote. And I'm pretty sure that, well, I can probably name you about 4 of my friends who voted Labour that are feeling a bit itchy and guilty now about how they voted for it. And that's just the way that it is, really, at the end of the day. Those are straightforward facts. Those are the things that are happening just now within the Labour Party. So this is why we need to start thinking about 2026 right now. Not in January 2026. We need to go out and we need to get people to learn about the DeHont system, and we need to break down the barriers between the political parties to deliver a pro-independence government, even a minority government, into Holyrood, and a pro-independence opposition into Holyrood. So across the board, we have a majority pro-independence Holyrood, with the most MSPs being pro-indie. And it's so important that we start thinking about that now. And people, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're watching this on TikTok, you need to come away from this tonight and start thinking about it. I know that many of you will start to feel, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work with Alapa. That is the hegemony of political power that's preventing you from actually taking steps towards independence. If you consider the barriers between the political parties and you consider those more important than independence, then you will never see independence in your lifetime or my lifetime. You have to consider these things, and you have to be breaking the barriers down just now in a positive way. It's only fair. I'm going to go and have a wee look in the side chats just now. I'm looking at YouTube just now. Always happy to have you here, Aquarius, every single time. Freeports as well. We'll come on to those for another live. I think it's important that we dedicate some proper time for them. Ken, you're jumping about the place between TikTok and YouTube. I need to make you a mod on the YouTube as well, actually. We'll get that sorted for you. And Dog Coop. Yeah, you know, Dog Coop, you're absolutely the spot on. The bickering needs to stop, and this will be shared on Facebook. Thanks so much. It's live on Facebook just now on the Saorsa thing. I'm watching it here, but it's only me that's watching it on my iPad to monitor the chat. But it is late at night, and there'll be plenty of people in bed in Facebook land just now. Gentlemen, what do you I'm sorry I went on a bit of a rant there. What do you think of what I'm saying here? What's your comments on it?
People just need to get their asses and actually work together if they want independence. But
yeah,
people just can't focus on attacking each other. Quite irritating, actually.
Say that again, please.
I'd have to agree.
Your mod's not working, did it say, Ken?
Yeah.
What, on TikTok?
Yeah.
Have a wee look now, see if it's working now. Because you've got all the prerequisites there.
No, it just doesn't seem to be working at the moment.
That's weird.
That's the right account.
No, it's do a wee comment in the chat for TikTok now. Yeah, Alan Arnott, Alba, the same thing. And that I agree completely with Alapa on that one. Mrs. Lannery, what do you think about the attainment gap widening but the SNP funding and building private schools? Don't know anything about that, so I couldn't tell you if they were building private schools or not, so it wouldn't be fair for me to answer that. So when it comes to the attainment gap just now, my daughter just got 8 A's for her national fives. My son's just left high school and gone to university. My second youngest son is flourishing in his 3rd year of high school. They're doing very well. They're not at private school. I base things usually around individuals rather than sort of like national statistics, because everybody has a different experience at school. And do you know something? I firmly believe that education could be better in Scotland. However, we do have a workforce that over 50% of the workforce has degrees. Okay, a lot of people, more people go on to university as a percentage of our population than people in other parts of the country. More people are educated in this country. So the attainment gap is something that I firmly believe should be worked upon. I don't know how to work upon it. It's well above my pay grade. So many commentators on independence would turn around and argue the point, but I'm not going to argue the point. But I don't know anything about the SNP funding and building private schools. But I will Google that. I think it'd be interesting to look for it. Yeah, Bobag voted for SNP 20 years, but never again. They've destroyed the education system in Scotland. Probably. Again, I'll go back and I'll say to you, my daughter just got 8 A's at her national fives. My son's off to university, and my second oldest son is doing really well at school. So my personal experience with it is pretty good, but I'm just one person. And
so who are you voting for then, Bobag?
One thing I would say about the poverty attainment gap, or the deprivation attainment gap, is it can't be resolved properly until we have the full leaders of an independent nation, so that we can tackle poverty properly, and then you'll see a difference with the attainment gap. But until we have an independent nation, it's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to do anything in a meaningful way.
1 wee second, just replying to Mrs. Lannery. So yeah, no, that's tough. That one, that's really hard for you. It's very hard to go to anything nowadays. You just got 5 A's and higher and didn't get into St Andrews. My son got into Heriot Watt. He got a conditional when he was in 5th year. He got a conditional for his 6-year exams. For any B in advanced higher, he had to get a B in advanced higher maths to get into Edinburgh, because he did pretty well in his 5th year hires. And that's tragic that you didn't get into St Andrews. So did you get into any other universities though? I would like to ask that for it all. But no, I'm not here to talk about education really at the end of the day for today. It's something that we can do another live for, but I'm just replying to your comments there. So I'm not going to move the conversation into that direction just now. And I will say to Age of Aquarius, listen, if you can find me on Facebook and message me, and I'm not fully educated on free ports, Aquarius, if you go to the Facebook page, the Saorsa public page, and private message me through that, with any links and anything at all, or anything that you know about it, or even, we can have a phone call and a conversation about it. I'd love to do that. And that way, I can be educated, so I can turn around and be able to discuss those properly. I don't like the idea of free ports. I think they've got the potential of terrible corruption. But again, there's it's something that in an independent Scotland we could turn round and vote in a party that would regulate them better or remove them before we get there, which is important. Right, is your mod stuff working yet, Ken? Right, I'm going to have a look at this just now. Bear with me, people.
I'm pretty
Right.
sure I'm on the right account, because remember the other night.
No, it's annoying.
Reset.
I'm no mod.
You should be a mod. I made you a mod ages ago.
No, you didn't.
I'm going to make you a mod now, mate. Right, where are you? You need to put a comment in the side chat for me because I can't do it from your thing.
I couldn't even bring up.
I'll speak to you later, Alan. Who's tapping the screen? Are you somebody tapping the screen? I can hear that. You tap away, brother. Right, Aaron, stick a comment in the side chat so I can make you a mod, mate.
Oh, I just put 3 comments in.
There you go. That's it. It's only just come up just now. Why me? Right.
Okay, saying 3 yo. Why always me?
Right. Add moderator. Okay, so you're getting all that. You can do the comments, the mute accounts, the block accounts, manage guests, and star comment. What I'm going to do, Ken, is I'm going to remove your moderation rights and then I'm going to add them again, okay, mate? See if that fixes it. Remove moderator.
I could always try coming out and come back.
No,
as well.
I've just removed. Let me just manage access and do. Oh, why? It's not even letting me. Hang on. Confirm. Try that now. No. That's weird, eh?
So strange.
Very strange. The theory about Holyrood vote is good, but in practice, how do you suggest the leadership of the indie parties can be persuaded to do the right thing? Take them round the back, Aquarius, and give them a doing if they don't. That's just me being stupid, but I think that if they're serious about independence, if the SNP are, and I believe that they are, but I think that the NEC has got their fingers in the pie of political hegemony, which is a damn shame. We need to get past that. We need to convince leadership, and I'll be voting for every pro-independence policy when it comes to the big conference this week. I've got 2 votes that my ward want me to make upon, which I totally agree with, but anything else that comes up for pro-independence rather than hegemony of political power, I'll be voting for. I think that's far more important than just straight policy as a whole. Right, okay, managing your access again here. Remove moderator. Why will it not let me remove you as a moderator? You might come back in and out, Ken, and see if it removes your moderator just now, and then we'll get back. I'm not leaving this live until I've got you modded again, though. I think that we've got a couple of good people that are in the civic movement rather than the political movement as well, Aquarius, that have the ear of the leadership within the SNP, and I believe, I don't think for 1 second that Alipur and Alex Salmon would need any convincing to do that. I think the convincing is to break down the barriers, and if they're serious about independence, it's something that can be done. Like, for instance, tomorrow is the first stakeholders meeting within Believe in Scotland about the Scottish Citizens Convention, which is a massive project which wants to be getting kicked off September, October time, where basically we're going to be asking 40 to 60,000 people in Scotland what are their hopes and dreams for the future in Scotland and what their daily concerns are. Okay, then we're going to compile that as a report, present it to Holyrood and say, can you deliver this? They'll probably say no. Then we'll go down to Westminster and basically ask them, saying, can you deliver this for Scotland? And they're going to say no, because they won't want things coming out of Scotland like nuclear weapons and stuff, and they won't want Scotland to have control of their energy, because that's all reserved. Let's just do add moderator again. This could be, there we go. It should come on now for you, Ken. Does that come on for you?
Yay. That's
cool.
it.
Brilliant. So when Holyrood can't deliver it because they don't have the competencies, and Westminster won't deliver it because they're dicks, then that only leaves one option. We need to be able to turn round and then use 2026 as a plebiscite for independence. So if we go back to Holyrood and say, hey SNP, you can't deliver this, Westminster won't deliver this, okay, if you're serious about independence, okay, you're going to have to put independence at the top of the agenda and the hegemony of politics at second, and you're going to have to work with the other parties and the other individuals that want to field themselves and their parties as list MSPs and not have anybody on the list. You will end up with a minority government, but can you imagine all those people that are pro-independence that had a bit of the indie apathy when it came to voting in the general election just gone? There was no pizzazz, there was no get up and go, there was no teamwork, no unity. Suddenly being faced with all the independence parties with a similar manifesto, a vote for us is a vote for independence in this plebiscite of a general election where we're voting for independence on delivering this as an independent nation. Okay, now a plebiscite is internationally recognised as a means of constitutional change. Okay, and Westminster will do everything they possibly can to say, no, you're not having that, you're not going to do that, and we're not going to accept that. But then that means they're not accepting the authority of the Scottish Government as a whole. Now, that election is basically a plebiscite, and it's talking about constitutional change as a whole, but it's not, it's just a policy. It's not enacting anything. It will be enacted afterwards because it's the will of the Scottish people. And that's what will happen. We will deliver that because you will have the people, and you'll have all those people that are new voters that are pro-independence. You've got 70% of the 16 to 25-year-olds. Okay, I mean, when I say the 16 to 25-year-olds, these are all the people that are wanting independence now. And the 25-year-olds were like 15 at the referendum last time, and they have seen the nonsense that the union's done. All my son's friends, every single one of them, will vote SNP. Every single one of them would vote yes. This is why the Westminster government will never, ever, ever allow us a Section 30 referendum. Never, ever. Right. Bum, bum, bum. I think that's us for tonight, gentlemen. I'm going to go onto Discord though, because I like to go and chit chat. Bobag, I think the only way to get indie is the SNP to disband and a new indie party that rises up. We won't see independence, Bobag, in that time at all then, because while that's happening and everybody's squabbling over the scraps of the table of the separation of the SNP, we'll end up having a unionist government, and they'll basically remove the powers of Westminster, of Holyrood. They'll work with Westminster to undermine the independence movement as a whole. So I feel that as much as the SNP are not perfect right now, by a long shot, that boils down to the fault of the NEC, in my opinion, the National Committee for the SNP. And we need to be able to turn around and fix that as a whole. I think that's really, really, really important. And to be perfectly fair and honest, the people like Gordon McIntyre Kemp, who does have the opportunity to speak with the First Minister frequently, he can have frank and honest conversations with him, and he's bound to have had a frank and honest conversation about the Scottish Citizens Convention and getting funding for it. And I think it's important that we back that, because we've had conventions which have been talking shops, but that's all they've been, is a talking shop. This has a policy to deliver something, and to deliver something to both Holyrood and Westminster. Incidentally, if you didn't know this, back in 2014, Better Together surveyed 40,000 Scottish people, asking the simple question is, what is your greatest concerns about independence? And the concerns that came back was pensions, currency, borders and the EU. And lo and behold, Better Together used their campaign strategies based around those policies, those particular fears, and used those fears to manipulate the vote for people moving away to vote no. At one point, we had 53% voting yes. The next day, the vow was put in place and all the high Hegians from Westminster came up to lick the boots of Scotland. Mental. The things that they would do is crazy. Crazy. And yeah, and Aaron's right saying it took the SNP long enough to get here. I think that what we need, I think the best thing is once independence is here, the SNP will disband anyway. They've served their function. They might be in power for like one and a half, 2 terms max. But then Scotland has the opportunity to choose its own path politically for pretty much any other party as a whole. Listen, I want to say thank you to everybody tonight for hanging out. Gentlemen, thank you so much for tonight. Let me just find the closing down box. I've got to put some things up. So a massive jassive thank you to absolutely everybody for watching tonight. It was just an ad hoc little impromptu type of live anyway. Also, you can find us all on our social media for Saorsa, which is lazylinks.co.uk, and that will have every single one of our links. It also has links to our lives this Friday, where basically myself, Ken, and any of the rest of the team from Saorsa as well, will be discussing what's going on tomorrow night with all the Yes groups coming together in a conference call on Zoom to talk about the convention and how we move that forward, and making sure that people are backed behind it and stuff. What was that? Was that you, Ken?
No, it was Aaron.
Me,
What are you watching?
I was a video that came up on my Snapchat. I'm like, oh shit, fuck. Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. What a guy, eh? What a guy. Right. I am going to say cheerio just now. I'm going to put on the closing down music, so when I edit this, it's all ready to go. And gentlemen, I'll see you in Discord if you want to be in Discord.
Good night.
Okay. See you shortly.
See you shortly.
I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to enter like I wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down on my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left, so don't give up on. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me.
Remember, we'll be back. Oh, hang on. Too many microphone sound things open. We'll be back on Friday, 11 o'clock, with a multi-stream again, just basically talking about everything that happens tomorrow night at the conference. So I look forward to speaking to you all then. Okay, take care and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it across all the different streams that we're doing just now across in YouTube land, Facebook land, and here on TikTok land as well. Okay, take care everybody. Thanks for your time tonight.